Was one way in which Rusty was different from most dogs. He loved to be dressed up. Most dogs hate to be dressed up, and it is very unkind of you to try to force it on them. But when I put clothes on Rusty, he went all fluffy like a rag doll. Sometimes I put him in a pajamas and wheeled him around the streets in our old pram. But it was very important not to laugh at him. He hated that and would walk off at once, trailing clothes behind him. Rusty taught me so much about all and about animal behavior lessons I have remembered all my life. He taught me that dogs can think things out, that they can reason. If, for example, I threw a ball from an upstairs window, he would watch where it landed, then bark for the door to be opened, rush downstairs, bark for an outside door to be opened, then go and find the ball. He could plan too. When it was very hot, he sometimes took himself off along the street to the sea, had a swim, then trotted back, wet and cool. Rusty was the only dog I have ever known who seemed to have a sense of justice. If he did something he knew was wrong, that is something I had thought him was wrong, then he apologized the, the way dogs do, by rolling over on his back and grinning. But if I was I was cross about something that he thought was okay, then he sulked. For example, I had taught him to shut the door. He would jump up and bang it shut. One day he did this with very wet, muddy paws, and without my having asked him. He wanted to attention. "Oh, Rusty, bad dog," I said. He stared at he stared at me, then went and sat facing a wall, his nose a couple of inches away, and stayed that way even when I said walkies, walkies. Not until I knelt down and apologized did he move from his place and gradually become friendly again. He behaved like this on four quite separate occasions. Another reason why I hated the end of the holidays was that I had to leave Rusty every morning when I went off to school. At school, I always did fairly well, especially in the subjects I found interesting, such as English, history, scripture, and of course biology, math, and languages. I found more difficult, so I had to work harder at them. I usually came second or third in the end of term. Overall results, one very brainy girl. My high school was for girls only, always came first. My best friend, Mary Claudie Mange, known as Chloe, was either second just above me or third just below me. For my last 2 years, I took a strange mixture of subjects biology, English, and history, as they were the ones I had always liked best. Those last years were my happiest at school. I got good marks during my final exams when I was 18, and then quietly, suddenly, my school days were over. What would I do next? I only wanted to watch and write about animals. How could I get started? How could I make a living doing that?